Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Here's your report.
Oh, thanks, Jane. I wish I could hire someone just like you.
Try LinkedIn Hiring Pro. It's more than a job board. It's like the recruiter you always wished you had. Hiring Pro uses real-time insights to match your role to LinkedIn's unique network of professionals and delivers a short list of best fit candidates. You'll spend less time sorting applicants and more time talking to the right people.
Let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Well, today we're going to talk about prepping for the apocalypse. The last episode, we kind of laid out how a biblical apocalypse would play out and what that kind of entails. But now I wanted to do a kind of second episode and talk about, well, what could you actually do? Like, how could you make things better? Now, a lot of people kind of gave us a little grief. Oh God, we don't go for that whole biblical thing and you're throwing it all off and whatever. And that's fine. And we do episodes on aliens and every other thing. So, think outside the box for a week, work with us. But the thing is that's going to make it cool is, I got to say, is that we're going to use this as an opportunity to kind of think outside the box with your prepping, how to kind of prepare for unusual events, things that, might be a little out of the norm, out of the, things you standard prepare for. But also there's a lot of things that overlap to everyday life that are very relevant. Inflation and kind of not being able to buy things kind of go hand in hand in how you might prepare. I know that in the biblical scheme of things, there's a lot of earthquakes and hellfire raining from the sky, that kind of thing, the things that could happen every day. So, we used to have acid rain in the 80s, right?
I remember that.
And
you go outside without an umbrella and your skin melted off. It was crazy. The 80s were a wild decade.
It was a wild time, right? I don't know. So just with that, there's a lot of things going on. So let's kind of just jump right in. And obviously we're not going to dig into a lot of them, but we're going to, really drill down on the ones that seem like something you need to consider and think about. Now, obviously, somebody had pointed out last week that, if they were Christians, they wouldn't even be here for the apocalypse. Well, I got to say, that's a big debate among the churches. And they're all like, well, maybe the Christians will all be gone before bad things happen, or maybe they'll be gone in the middle of bad things happening. And maybe they're going to tough it out.
It doesn't specifically say. I mean, it says if you're on your rooftop and it starts, just run for it. You don't even go back to get your coat. So if you're not reading the Bible, why would you even give that message, right?
There's a million, online of kind of being a follower of Christ. People, are always, oh, well, you got this, that, the other thing. But, whatever. There's a million ways to figure this out. And, if you want me to point you in the right direction on where to find that information, reach out, I'll talk to you. But for those of you who are like, I'm going to be here for the whole thing, I'm going to ride this.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin's a tough guy. He wants to ride it. He's like, yeah, let's ride it and see what happens. So there's a lot of bad things that could come.
Well, we got a list of about 21, right? We got 7 seals.
Some overlap, but there's 7 sealed judgments. So here we go. Let's jump into it. So what I got is initially there are 4 horsemen, right? You hear the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So the first one, and there's 7 seals, but 4 have horses. So here we go. The first one is a white horse. And it says the white horse will peacefully create a one world government. And I think in my video clip here, I spelled create wrong because I'm an idiot. But anyway, work with me. But so this is where, you kind of get that peace in the Middle East thing you hear about with that. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. And I got to say, we kind of seem to be shifting towards a one world government right now. Kind of preparing people like that. I think, people were always worried about the UN and that. But so that's kind of an ugly time. I feel like a lot that affects us and how we could prepare is a lot of your rights are kind of going away. Things like, gun rights are getting a lot more squashed. Things like, I know Canada, I was just watching Russell Brand, and Canada is doing a big thing about going after people who have online posts and things that are hurtful and hate.
Right. Free speech is getting more and more limited in Canada and a lot of places in the world.
And Canada, they're like, oh, we're even going to go back from that post you made in 1982 that was filled with hate. It wasn't even stuff. They were going for the gold.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy going on there. So things like that. Basically what I would say and how we prepare is like networking with people who, care about and, getting in touch and having ways to deal with our own groups, I'm sure podcasts get you in all kinds of trouble. I know in China they will, whatever, but that kind of thing. The other thing would be maybe, it might get more difficult to store food. They had written in that stuff about, people hoarding food and long-term food storage. And, how much did we shun people who bought a lot of toilet paper and that kind of thing during COVID, right? Oh, those evil hoarders ruined it for the rest of us, right? Hopefully if you were a prepper, you kind of had that stuff beforehand and you weren't out buying toilet paper at the last minute,
Hopefully.
Kevin.
That was me. That was me. I was in the backyard with the garden hose.
Hey, if you can work the bidet option, that's another thing. So yeah, there's things like that. So planning ahead, I guess, is what I would say for that one. The second horse is a red horse, symbolic of war and death. So war and death, definitely, we've seen wars affect the economy and how things go like that. In America, we never seem to really touch war, on the home soil. Hawaii might have a different opinion than that, but for the rest of the country, it's not really a mainland kind of thing. But
yeah, we've had a good 150-year run.
Yeah. Next is a black horse. Famine, scarcity, purchasing power is reduced by an 1/8. Now, I got to say that kind of relates to, modern day here where, there's a lot of
inflation.
And inflation, right? So
right. Go to the grocery store. You can't buy the same stuff you could with $100, just 2 years ago. So
preparing for that, one, buying your stuff in advance, as a prepper, a lot of us have kind of a stockpile of things for when there's a shortage, but you're also beating inflation by having stuff set aside.
Right. Because you're always eating, paying the price you would paid a month ago when you're buying stuff a month ahead of time, 6 months ago, a year ago.
And I think that makes a big difference. Moving right along. Oh, wrong one here. So Ashen Horse. Now this is a pale horse and it says 1/4 of the earth would be killed by sword, famine, and beasts. And it says beasts of the wilderness is what I read.
Yeah. Now everybody knows the pale horse. That's Clint Eastwood, right?
Yep.
Pale Rider. I'm pretty sure that's who they're talking about. Nobody wants to have to deal with him showing up.
No, you don't need that.
No. So quarter population dead by sword, famine, and beasts. Now, famine is obviously an awful one. That's not great when you don't have enough food to feed everybody.
There's always the flies going around.
And I don't know how to get rid of flies, but I know if you ever wanted to attract flies, get some eyeballs.
Oh,
it seems like whenever you see those third world videos of the third world country, they're just flies all over these people's eyeballs.
Yep. Well, because they're trying to suck the moisture out of your eyes.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Kind of gross.
That's how I see it. Now, you said you had concerns about the beasts when we were talking about.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I mean, realistically, there aren't that many lions and tigers and bears out there. There's an occasional rabid raccoon or something like that. But the beasts I was thinking about,
the wolves back.
That's right, bringing the wolves back too.
All right.
The thing that I was thinking about with the beasts reminded me of China. They just had a big military parade. Robot dogs with machine guns.
Yes, that's an exciting time. Robot dogs, machine guns. Some of you guys have seen there's robot dogs with flamethrowers.
Nice. Yep.
And very apocalyptic. These are the things I don't want to be dealing with. And if that's the beasts we're dealing with in the end times, I'm just saying.
Yeah, Ghost Robotics came out with one with a long range rifle too. So it's very exciting. Very exciting stuff. New York City Police has been putting out robot dogs, and they don't have guns yet. And so everybody that sees one has just been, I don't know if you assault the robot, but they've been smashing them up. If you see a robot walking down the sidewalk in your neighborhood, you need to get the baseball bat and smack it up, man. I don't go for that stuff. All right.
Quickly. Yeah, go ahead.
Fifth seal. The martyrs cry out for revenge. Now,
so that's all the Christians who've been persecuted in that beginning time and whatever and throughout time. So that's kind of there's not really anything going on there. That's just God saying, all right, I'm going to get annoyed here. I was going to say pissed, but I was trying to not offend people. Keep
right.
But that didn't work out so well. All right, next one, earthquake. Or did you have something more on the martyr?
Nope, that's it.
Right. Earthquake. The sun is blacked out. The moon is like blood, and the stars fall to earth. The sky tears apart like a scroll, and every mountain and island will be moved. Now, that's a big earthquake. If every mountain and island is moved, I believe it said off its foundation. That's kind of a little rough. So how do you prepare? I mean, we talked about preparing for earthquakes, but what about where do you want to be when there's a ridiculous earthquake, right? When mountains are being leveled.
Yeah, it seems to me, I would think like the Great Plains would be a great spot. I lived out in Illinois, out in that area. It's not necessarily the Great Plains, but it's right on the edge. And I lived in California. I've lived in, all over the place. And the worst earthquake I ever lived through was in Illinois, which is wild to me. I didn't even know they had earthquakes there.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I've heard people consider is underground. When there are earthquakes, it only usually affects the surface layer.
Is that a fact? That sounds made up.
No, I'm told that it's the upper crust that's kind of shifting. But I don't know how far underground we got to go here.
I think you got to go pretty far to get below the crust, man.
And then do we become mole people? I mean, there's a lot of things.
I mean, when you go underground, you might have to fight mole people. You know what I mean? That's where they live.
And I think there's an alien race living under there. I know they're saying up in Alaska and a few other places.
Yeah, like reptilians or
I think
different.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a fine line.
I'm into it. Maybe we can get the reptilians and the mole people to fight each other. Yeah. You got to work both sides of that.
One of the I don't know. All right. Moving right along. The next one. So earthquakes. I mean, do you have any more you wanted to touch on with earthquakes?
Yeah. So if you're getting ready for an earthquake, you want to make sure you do basics like secure your stuff to the wall, that your TV doesn't fall off the wall. Your pictures aren't falling on people's heads. You want to make sure everything's secured on your wall. It says you should practice the drop, cover, and hold on maneuver. I don't know what that means. It used to be door frames. Chuck, you said that's not cool anymore.
When I was searching it, everything was like, a lot of people think door frames, but that's no stronger than any other. Well, here's the thing. What they're implying in the stuff I read is that the walls are going to fall over or they're not. And that's kind of what you're looking at. Mm-hmm. So like they're thinking the whole wall is coming down rather than, like stuff falling on your head. They said that it actually is a good thing to be under furniture.
Okay.
To be outside is better. They said that the majority of people in earthquakes who have bad problems the deaths come from being buried by rubble. So being out in an open area, it's really the better way to be. Now, he said getting out of your car, not a good thing.
Just stay right there.
They said that car is just going to flip over on you and kill you. So if you can get out of your car and run 50 feet from any car, good.
Seems like the earthquake's over by that point.
Yeah. So, but if it's like initial, they're like, just hang on.
All right. So there is an earthquake emergency kit, right?
Okay.
So that would be food and water for 3 days, which hopefully if you're a prepper and you're listening to this, you've got.
And the apocalypse is 7 years. So you may just want to,
extend that a little bit, right?
Extend that a little bit, right?
Flashlight, fire extinguisher, and a whistle for when you do get trapped under the rubble.
Hello, I'm over here.
Mm-hmm. And obviously it says, have enough for everybody in your household. So,
a whistle for everyone or the food
whistle and a flashlight for everybody. Medication that anybody that's on a necessary medication, and have extra batteries and charging devices for phones and other equipment.
I like it.
And also you can't get Rapture or apocalypse insurance, but you can get earthquake insurance. Contact your homeowner's insurance policy. There you go.
All right. And, in a lot of places, they're probably pretty cheap. But what I am always wondering is they kind of are like, well, we never thought that would happen, so we're not going to pay out on that one. Mm-hmm. That's always the way it seems to kind of go. Like, we didn't think the World Trade Towers could come down. Yeah, we took the insurance policy like they could come down, but it wasn't going to happen. So I feel like that's what would happen is if I had a North Carolina earthquake insurance, they'd be like, well, we didn't think there'd be an earthquake.
Well, here's the thing. If there's an earthquake because it's the apocalypse, is that an act of God? It seems like an act of God. No. I don't know how that falls in.
They don't cover acts of God, or they do cover acts of God. Like, I'm not even sure how that plays out.
I don't even know anymore.
It's a fine line. All right. So, and then the other big thing that comes up is tsunamis tend to follow major earthquakes.
That's right. Tsunamis. And I've got some stuff on tsunamis. How to get ready for your tsunami.
All right.
If you live near or visit the coastal areas, learn about tsunami risks.
Yeah.
Learn the Learn the signs of potential tsunamis. So if you're at the beach and all of a sudden the water all goes out, it's probably too late. Like you can run the opposite direction.
But seeing that, right? You always see those videos where like they're on the pier. It's a movie or something, and I'll see something on TikTok or whatever the hell, and you'll see all the water retracting way back and like a quarter mile out, and they're like, "What? That's neat. Let's look. Maybe we'll see fish on the bottom." Mm-hmm. And they're all looking and excited.
Go out looking for shells and stuff.
And then you have one guy who's like, I know what this is. I listen to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast, and I should be running the other way. But it doesn't matter. You're probably screwed at that point.
Yeah, if you're actually saying that, you're out of luck. You should know your community's evacuation plans. They have like emergency emergency routes and stuff like that, keep your eyes open when you're driving around. You'll see signs for that sort of stuff.
And obviously you want high ground, right? But the top of the 50-story building on the ocean front, maybe not the high ground that's going to be number one, I mean, but hey, it depends what you have time for. You got to calculate and weigh that all out and decide where you can get that's going to be the safest and, kind of go with that.
All right. Next one on my list is create a family emergency communication plan.
Oh, I like that. So when your kids
people out of state,
to sea?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
But I mean, if you need to, communicate with your family members, so you have family members in different areas, have a plan for that. Your cell phones might not necessarily work. Regular telephones might not necessarily work. Yeah.
Well, hang on. Let me expand on that. One of the prepper books I had talked about was, they had a kid that was at college, like 30 or 40 miles away or, different things. And with an EMP, you don't know. And with different things that event, and especially more extreme events, such as major earthquakes or forest fires or things like that, maybe having a place to meet up. If things go bad, this is, where we're going to meet as a family and, or as a group or community or mutual assistant group, but have a place designated that, hey, if things go bad, this is where we're going to be. This is the compound, instead of everybody trying to run. If you discuss with your kids, hey, when you get out of the school, you need to come home. I'm not coming for you. Some kids are like, oh, I'm going to be waiting there for mom. I don't know. Should I wait? Right. Should I do everything I can to be like, screw the man and just walk out the door and leave? Like, you need to decide where your values are and what's important to you and what you're going to do beforehand. And just have a plan. I mean, maybe your plan is, hey, I know you're not going to be able to get home on your own, so I am going to come to the school and come for you. You need to come up with the plan and decide what you're going to do, but have a plan. And then that way, if you discuss these disasters and clear-cut strategies, it's so much better than trying to leave it up to fate. I know things probably won't happen. I know with like biblical end time stuff, right? Stuff like that. People have thought that the end of the world was coming since the beginning of time.
Right.
I'm not saying it's right around the corner. That's not the point. The point is we need to be ready as preppers for, whatever may come. And that's, now is the time to plan when you're in control and focused and thinking clearly. So, all right. Moving along.
Yeah. Another good idea. Sign up for your community's warning system. So emergency alerts go out. A lot of people just get them right on their phones, and that's great. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration also has a weather radio that you can listen to that'll give you emergency alerts. And consider flood insurance. Another great insurance. Get insurance for the apocalypse. That's another one of those act of God that you may or may not be covered by.
Right. That you want to plan for.
Now, number 7, the 7th seal is the 7 trumpets starting out, right?
All right. Opening. So that's the next set of judgments. Yep. All right. The first one, it starts out hardcore right out of the gate. Hail and fire mixed with blood, and a third of the grass and the trees are burned. So right here, like one, the hailstones in the Bible, they were described as a talent, the size, and that's about 7 gallons of water. So that's a big hailstone. I feel like that's taking out your car.
Yeah, that'd come right through your roof.
That's back where I go to the cave might be a good option, or having a fallback cave. But I got to say, one of the bigger things that came to mind when I read that was that we need to, one, have stores set aside, things in multiple locations in case they get damaged or whatever. You can't have all your eggs in one basket, as they say, right? You need to break up your food storage a little bit in different places. Another thing is they're talking about fire coming down from the sky and a third of the earth being burned. Fire breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're kind of screwed at that point if you're that kind of third of the earth where nothing, but you need to find a way to protect yourself and what you could do. That would be important.
And if you listen to Representative Boebert, you might want to be aware of the Jewish space lasers that are starting fires,
Yeah.
This might not necessarily be fire from the sky. It might be a laser from the sky that's starting these fires up. I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll see what happens.
If you were in Hawaii, you might find that opinion to be a little more. And I believe they did it in Argentina too, right? Weren't they saying that houses without blue roofs in Argentina? I think it was Argentina, somewhere in South America. I read another story. It didn't get a lot of traction, but
right. So they don't get shot with the space lasers if you have a blue roof.
Blue roof. So maybe that's what you do instead. You're like, oh, God's judgment, blue roof.
Yep.
Maybe blue roof with like a big cross on it. That'd be the double protection. I'm good from the government, and if God gets a little pissed, you can
right.
Like, yep, here it is. So that's another way to go on that one. But again, that's all right. Imagine if a third of the earth was burned, right? So you're not growing food. You have livestock set aside, but your livestock, how are you going to feed them? You might be able to butcher them and get through the next week, month with whatever you'll be able to smoke the meat. But again, too, one of the other things to consider is now that there's no, all the wood got burned, you can't make a fire anymore, right?
Right.
There's no more, you have fire for that week or whatever. Well,
when everything's on fire, right? But then
after that, you have no more wood to burn to purify water, to do anything. All right. These are things you might want to consider and kind of think of ways to, plan out. I'm just saying there's options out there that you need to be thinking about. So next one, what do we got? What's next on the list after hail and fire? And next is a great mountain burning with fire thrown into the sea turns to blood a third of the oceans. All right. So that's not good. So all your fish and wildlife, I think it said all the ships in that third are destroyed. Everything's just done. So you're kind of, things falling out of the sky and killing you. That's a hard one to prepare for. Maybe don't be on a ship during this time is what I would say. Next one, wormwood, which is a star or a comet. I'm not really sure. I think it's a real thing though. Like we already have a star, I think, named Wormwood.
Yeah, there's
afraid that. Yeah,
it looks like biblically, going back historically, wormwood is a reference to anything that's bitter.
Okay,
it's a bitter plant.
Okay,
and it's it can give you seizures apparently.
I think they said arsenic and they seem to think that's probably what it's going to be. But wormwood falls from heaven and turns a third of the rivers and springs bitter. So that's what you're dealing with there. So again, we're talking about you need water storage. All right. A third of the river and springs. And it says and springs. So having a well or something may not be a solution. So we need to think of ways to deal with this. All right. So it's possible we don't have firewood, but a still would be an option if we do. Being able to evaporate water, into and let it condensate again. There is a way without firewood that you could do a solar still.
Right.
Now, a solar still, you basically have a container with like a glass cover. You could even do like plexiglass, clear tarp, different things. And basically you lay it, the glass lays across the top of it. It's a sealed box with the contaminated water in the bottom. And you angle the top towards like a trough so that the water evaporates, collects on the top, and then kind of travels, downward and then drops into the trough. I've also seen ones where you put like a rock in the middle over a tarp, a clear tarp, and you have the bucket for clean in the middle, and then the other moisture stuff, vegetation, anything with moisture. Because obviously when it cools at night, that kind of thing, you go with the solar, it evaporates up into steam in the hot day and then evaporates as it cools down and condenses and goes back down. So that's something to consider. There is a company, there was a guy who's been reaching out to me. I think his name was Brian, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to do an episode with him for the podcast, but he's got a really awesome website. And it's called, let me see. I think it was like aquaria.world. Either way, I'll put it in the show notes so you guys can link to it. But basically, they have a evaporator system that evaporates just moisture out of the air and puts it into a big container and provides fresh water. Now, this does require electricity. I know they have options where they talk about a solar setup to power it and different stuff. To me, it looked like it was a kind of expensive option. However, on the flip side of that, it's expensive, but water is kind of the foundation of life. And if you're the only guy who has water, you might be pretty cool. So again, you have something like this, you're going to want to protect it. You're going to want to find ways that it's not going to get destroyed. We talk about backups and redundancy, being able to patch bad plumbing things that come up. These are things you need to think about. One of the things when the stores and you can't go to the hardware store, you can't do anything if times get really bad, during even wildfires or whatever, your local hardware store is probably not opening up on the corner when everybody's evacuating.
Yeah. They say that actually
Walmart will still be open.
Well, they said that they knew that Jesus was the Messiah because when he was a carpenter, he only had to go to Home Depot once for each project. He didn't have to keep going back like you and I do.
That would be the kind of proof that I'd be looking for.
Yeah. So you need to, when we're talking about things like this, having those extra supplies, having extra plumbing supplies, piping, things like that. Extra lumber. That's the sort of stuff that, as a prepper, you should be thinking about. Not just the tools to do the job, but some of the materials that you need to do the job.
Right.
Having some extra tarps, having some extra lumber, having an extra bundle of shingles, that sort of stuff is, it's also prepping.
I will say it's a delicate dance between being a hoarder and being well prepared.
Yeah. It's close to my heart there.
It's a fine line, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just put that out there. Now, all right. We had everything go better. A third of the sun, stars, and the moon are diminished. Now, is this from the smoke from all the fires? I don't know. Who knows what the Bible's talking about there.
Yeah. Now, if we talk about, like a giant meteor, we talk about a mountain burning with fire thrown into the sea.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, it's nuclear winter is what that's the sort of thing. Is what we could be dealing with, right? Meteors did that. That's how they took out the dinosaurs, or how they think that would happen. Same thing with a massive nuclear exchange.
All right, now next one, demonic locusts.
My favorite one, right?
And torture people for 5 months. And I believe it says that people will wish for death, but death does not come.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound good. Now, here's the caveat here. Now, so maybe the rapture happens at the beginning. That's when all the Christians get called up and they all disappear. One will be working in the field or two will be working in the field and one will be gone and one will be there, the whole thing. So you can still accept God according to the Bible after that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't take the mark, if you have the mark of God, now it's not just taking the mark. I think you also need the mark of God, meaning that you've decided to follow Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Those locusts won't sting you.
Oh, word?
Yeah. So I just had to put that out there. At that point you can be like, hey, now if you've got the mark of the beast thing, then forget it. You're just, the locusts are coming for you. So what can you do to avoid these locusts? Now,
well, I mean, when I first read this, I used to think of the demonic locusts were like Apache helicopters or something, right?
People have said that, but I don't think, because they say it comes out of a pit from hell.
Right. Well, that's how you know it's demonic, right? Evil grasshoppers coming to get.
Right. I tried to have AI, Chat GPT or something. I think I've been looking at a new one called CapCut or something, and that draws pictures for you, with the AI. Bing does it. And I typed in the biblical description so I could get a picture to drop it on there. They were so far away from anything, I didn't even bother saving any. They were that bad. But the description is, it has like a crown on its head, a gold crown. It has long hair like a woman, a face like a man, teeth like a lion. And I believe there was something, it looked like a locust or scorpion. So you have all this kind of tied together. And it definitely maybe didn't say that it looked like a scorpion, but it said that it would sting like a scorpion.
All right.
So we're talking about some horrible little creature that
looks like a dude. Looks like some guy. It's got a guy's face on it.
Yeah, that's a creepy image. And like you said, I remember hearing the preachers of yesterday talking about, well, it's probably the Apache helicopter with a man in there and, whatever. And they had all kinds of, we always try and justify things and explain it away, what it really means. Because a lot of the stuff, people say, well, this is the interpretation of a guy 2,000 years ago. And, he doesn't have the same context and perspective that we do. And I get that. And that's fair. But also, I don't think people were just idiots because it was a long time ago.
Right.
Like, I don't know that we can, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. That's all I can say. So that brings the trumpet judgments to an end, right? Is that right?
No. There's one more that is very exciting to me.
It is exciting. You're right.
Four angels lead an army of 200 million demons to inflict death on 1/3 of the earth.
Now, this is not an army of men from what we're reading. It's 200 million demons.
Yeah. Now, everybody knows that to kill a demon, you need either holy water or silver bullets.
Yes.
So stock up, bro.
Yep. And silver's way up right now. I think last I checked, it was like $31 an ounce.
Yeah, no, it's pretty damn expensive. That's like, it's like $10 rounds there,
We were all excited the other day that, somebody came up to me. He's like, hey, did you see silver's $27.88 or $27.99 an ounce? And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. And then last night he stopped me at work and was like, dude, it's 31. And I'm like, I haven't looked, but I mean, I saw it when it was $27.99 or whatever.
But it's going up.
It's going up. So that's something you might want to think. So any other thoughts on fighting demons? I mean, it just doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Now, in the book of Enoch, that's where people talk about a lot of these angels and demons and stuff. Now, book of Enoch is one that didn't make it into the official printing from King James, whatever. It didn't make the cut. People say factual, not factual, whatever. I believe that it's factual. I haven't scrutinized it all myself. I have not read the book of Enoch. Every time I try and find a copy and read it, it's craziness and I don't know. So anyway, bottom line, they talk about 9 to 12 foot demons. So these are some big boys, right? You might want to hit the gym if you're going to be fighting these guys.
Right. It's like getting in a fist fight with Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. Exactly. It might end well, but all signs point to not likely. So you might want to step up your game. Maybe you need to start working on some robot dogs.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you why I'm not worried about demons.
All right.
Because they don't have karate.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Kung Fu.
That's right. I don't know karate either, but I'm just saying I could watch some movies. I could watch some Bruce Lee. I could probably figure some stuff out. A lot of people think,
I'm just going to watch some Bruce Lee before things go bad. And yeah, that sounds right. So maybe step up the Bruce Lee collection.
All right. Now we're on to the seventh one. The seventh trumpet is the beginning of the
bold judgments.
The 7 bold judgments.
Now, these just are bad, like right out of the gate. So, again, anybody who has the mark of the beast, this is the first bold judgment, gets malignant sores upon anyone who has the mark. So, that's not good. Nobody, if you've ever seen like a cold sore or had a cold sore, it's not good. It's just gross, pus, boils. Nobody wants any of that. And
right. So, there's, when you're talking about cancer, there's benign and malignant. Malignant's the bad one, right?
Now, before a third of the ocean turned to blood and killed all the fish and everything in it. Now they're just number 2. We're going to full on blood everywhere. Everything died in the ocean. And then right after that, all the rivers and springs turn to blood everywhere. Now, I do know if you're the religious type, Moses was able to turn it back to clean water. So maybe if you just pray about it, is what I'd say.
Yeah, maybe you can get a Moses around.
We talked about the solar stills and the other one, the evaporator. I know in Africa they had some kind of basket thing they were trying to rig up that collected condensation. All I can say is, if you're planning on sticking around for the apocalypse, I would say look into a bunch of methods where you can collect condensation for your water. That's going to be your go-to. And again, firewood might be in tight supply, so you may want to look at that. Otherwise, I can say is you're boiling the blood and hoping to get some moisture out of it. Things look bad.
Word of the wise, don't just drink blood.
That's the no-go?
Even if it's clean. You're just going to throw up blood.
Vampires have been doing it.
They can do it. They got the skills, but you don't.
What if I went to living in a cave, got all pale, and then I think they become anemic, then drinking blood, it kind of works out.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right. Probably not, though.
Probably not the way.
It doesn't sound good. All right. The next one, what is it? Oh, the sun gets extra hot. The sun produces extraordinary heat and scorches men with fire. So that one could be a little rough. I would say find a nice shady spot and keep your air conditioners working.
Yeah, no, I understand this one.
Tell me.
As a white man. I actually just got sunburn 2 days ago, being out in the sun for too damn long. Maybe the black folks don't have to worry about this so much. They don't get sunburned like pale white people do.
Like
if you're albino, like if you're from England, don't go hang out in the American South. Don't go to Miami or anything,
Yeah, no, probably a no-go on that one. So, all right, let's keep rolling here. Scorching heat, though, is a bad thing. And I would say plenty of water. But if it's all blood, who knows how that's going to work out for you.
Hard to stay hydrated in that.
It is, right. Next one is blackout from the sun and agony. But I guess you're kind of happy that the sun finally turned off.
Finally burnt out. Jeez.
Yeah. But it says, and agony that causes people to gnaw their tongues. I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good.
I know I've bit my tongue accidentally before, and it doesn't feel good.
Pleasant?
No, right. So I mean, doing it on purpose, like, I don't know. You must be in a lot of agony.
All right. Next one is the Euphrates dries up and draws out kings to the mountains of Israel for the final battle. Now, they describe it in this text. They describe the final battle as the Battle of Armageddon. It turns out Armageddon is an actual place. There is like northern Israel in the mountains is where this battle is going to describe. And it's like in biblical maps, it is like Armageddon. I think if, that's something that interested you, you could actually search out, where is Armageddon on a map and whatever. You should be able to, sort it out. It's not going to be your modern atlas probably, but when you go back to yesteryear, I know the Bibles used to have the old school maps in it. I could maybe find something and post it up if you were interested. Just saying. Last one. Light and Sound announces the greatest earthquake the world has ever known. Now, we've already had an earthquake that moved every mountain and island from its place. So it just can't be good. That one, I think, kind of brings it all to an end. And that's kind of where it leaves you, at the end. So it's an ugly world out there.
Yeah.
And that is our take on biblical judgments and how to prepare for it.
Yeah, and if you can make it all the way to the seventh bowl of wrath,
and you're home free,
you get the prepper gold star.
You do get a gold star. I'll tell you what. You make it past the 7 years, send me an email, and I will send you a patch.
Free t-shirt.
You know what, Kevin? We're going to make up a special I Survived the Apocalypse shirt that you got to get through the 7 before I'll let you order it, though.
All right. That seems
I'll
reasonable.
let you order it now. You can put it in the drawer, but I don't want you to wear it.
Nobody can wear. I don't want to see any pictures of people wearing this shirt.
Right. I'll tell you what. I'll put it up there. You guys can order the shirt, but I want you to hold on to it till you make it to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to wear the shirt.
Then you can wear it.
Be like, yep, badass. Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that together for you guys. But like I said, I don't want you wearing it until you make it to the end. Or, I don't know. We might work it out. If you email me, we can work out a special situation. You might be able to wear it. But we'll figure it out. Anyway, you want to tell us that you hate the Bible episodes. Now, I got to say, we've come to an end. This is the end of the biblical episodes. Like that series, done.
This is
2 episodes. You had to tough it out. It was a little rough. But you want to tell me that you were so unhappy, so offended, so whatever. That's all right. Email me at preppingbadass@gmail.com. Also, I was supposed to mention it in the beginning, and I forget as always. You need to like and subscribe. You need to put comments in the iTunes or wherever the heck it is that you download podcasts, Spotify. Turns out more people are using Spotify than they're using Apple anymore for podcasts. So you want to make sure you leave us a review on there. I really will try and remember to prompt you guys in the beginning because they say that nobody's listening at 46 minutes. I don't know. You're still here, right? So, I mean, you, because you're listening to it. And so therefore you heard it and you get the idea. Anyway, questions, concerns, email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com. You can also check out our awesome gear. I got an awesome VA healthcare shirt that I put up on there. You might want to check that out. Some cool coffee mugs. I got some cool stuff getting together for prepper camp. I know you guys, I mentioned North Carolina, late September. You can meet me in person at prepper camp. I'm just saying, I'll be there. I'll be giving a lecture on EMPs. Rick Austin, who does the Secret Garden of Survival, he'll be there giving lectures. He actually kind of runs prepper camp. He's the man behind the plan on that one. But there's a lot of cool things coming. Like I said, I'd love to see you there. But with that, I would say stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Hello.
Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We are digital, we are downloadable, we are streamable.
The fashion event of the year is certified fresh.
Pull yourself together, we have work to do.
Critics say it's smart and witty and the perfect sequel.
That's all.
Get runway ready for The Devil Wears Prada 2 on Disney Plus and Hulu. Rated PG-13.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 five-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 50% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.